Hello, fellow adventurers and collectors, Filmaholic here, and it's been a while, 2 months to be exact, so happy belated new year and everything like that. I hope everything went well for you guys. And I figured my first video for 2020 would be a collection update slash display, since a lot of my collection has been reconfigured and a lot of things have been added and removed. And a little catch up with you guys because it's been a while, like I said. This is probably the cleanest my collection has been. It's not 100% complete, of course, like everything in my collection. So this shelf here, for example, is what I call the catch-all designer shelf, where a lot of the different companies that I collect are featured here if they don't have a space somewhere else. So like there's Damn Toys, Medicom, Devil Toys, and even a third-party developed figure by Green Gear, I believe. So as you see with most of my collection, I try to keep the the accessories with them, like this dog that came with this 1/6 scale Quicks figure. And of course this is the 3A collection that you guys are familiar with, but there have been some recent additions and removals, of course. I've traded figures away, and then I've also added some new pieces like those two bots that you see. I won't focus too much on this collection because there was a video on it that I've done already. So I would like to take this moment to add that I use Billy shelves, the cream color ones, because I think they allow the figures to actually stand out more than the black ones, and it's easier to hide dust as I've noticed. So yeah, here again I have those two new bots that I've added, and they're pretty nice figures. I've never actually had a 3A bot before, so having two of them in my collection is nice to have. And as you notice too in my displays, I have a lot of museum poses. And here is another catch-all shelf, because I don't really focus on smaller scales anymore. I end up putting them here. And yes, I ended up going into the Fortnite craze as well because of that Peely figure. And I ended up finding them at Ross, and that's what kind of jump-started that collection. But yeah, here are the like 12-inch, not 12-inch, 6-inch figures and everything like that. And as you'll notice down here, this is where I keep the 1/6 scale vehicles. And we'll get into that right shelf in a little bit, but here you can see the vintage G.I. Joes that I had, as well as 1/6 scale Warthog, and that storage for random boxes and things like that. Excuse me. So yeah, you don't want to see that. So going back to the G.I. Joes, I used to have more of them, but I sold them off. I do have some Action Men. Here is my like 1/6 scale military figures. I figured I put them with the Humvee that I found at a flea market. And there's 4 of them here, but as we'll see later on, I have another shelf with more realistic looking figures. And then those are a mix of easy and simple, Damn Toys, and Soldier Story. I don't really limit myself to like what line I collect. Here are some movies and video games that I have. You can kind of get an idea of what I like, and so on and so forth. Moving on, we have another junk shelf, but above that Warthog, I have the 1/6 scale realistic figures, and by realistic I mean like based. Well, the skeleton isn't really realistic, but you have Frank Castle, Captain America, my custom Captain Price that I'm going to do a video on later on, Alice, and my custom Soap and Ghost that still needs a head. I need to work on getting that done, because now that I have Captain Price, I really want to complete that set. I don't know if I'm going to update him to his new look, but we'll have to see. Moving on, this is like next to the realistic shelf. These are custom projects that I'm working on, minus the Spawn and Marcus Phoenix, of course. And I got this 3-0 Votons Scope Dog for a great price because it had broken ankles like a lot of them do. So I have planned on fixing that at some point, but not sure when I'll get around to doing that, considering my upload rate isn't the greatest right now. But above that, I have Erica, and she doesn't really have a space to fit in the actual shelves, so I kind of put her up here. You can see a lot of my customization things and things like that. And you can see my hoard of paints and stuff onto it right, so we'll not focus on that. But yeah, like I said, this is just a quick look at the collection displays that I have, and I hope it kind of helps you get an idea of how you can display your collection. By all means, mine isn't perfect, I'm still trying to figure it out as I go, but it's been an interesting process. So, thank you all for watching, and until next time, I'll see you around.